So I recently quit trying to be a minimalist, and it was the right decision. Today, I want to tell you why I quit and why it might be in your best interest to quit trying to be a minimalist as well. Let's get into it. Before talking about my minimalist journey, let's talk about the history of minimalism itself. Minimalism is defined as a style or technique, as in music, literature, or design, that is characterized by extreme sparseness and simplicity. Now, before doing research for this video, I never really sat down and looked up the definition of minimalism, and I never realized how many different aspects of life that this definition could incorporate with. And somewhere along this timeline, from what it began with in the 1960s and 70s, it became to what it is today. But besides all that, I wanted to talk about my personal experience with minimalism. To understand why I really wanted to become a minimalist, we had to go back to when I really wasn't one at all, or I didn't even know what minimalism was. When I was younger and growing up, I had parents who didn't really buy much when it came to clothes, house decor, just excess things. Now, this wasn't really because of a financial restriction where we couldn't afford to buy these things, but it was more just a sense of my parents didn't want to spend the extra money on things that seemed unnecessary. Now, I think one of the reasons for this is definitely because they came over from living overseas. So I think when people kind of move to America, they sometimes tend to understand the value of a dollar a lot more. Now, I think for them, they saw what it was like to live overseas, and they understood that the opportunity here was very big, and they wanted to save as much money as possible and didn't want to just aimlessly spend. But also having this mindset growing up from kind of handed down from my parents, it also led me in the opposite direction where I always just wanted stuff, because I saw people at my school who would always have the newest clothes, the newest shoes, the newest this, the newest that, the newest backpack, whatever it was, they'd have the newest, and they would be getting a lot of it. I remember, for example, Nike Elite socks. When I was in school, that was the most popular thing you can get. And it wasn't cool just to have one pair of Nike Elite socks, right? You had to have like 3 to 4 pairs to really just show everybody that, oh, I got all the Nike Elite socks. But the problem was those socks were $16. And I knew damn well my parents weren't gonna pay $16 for one pair of socks. Listen, my parents, they would only buy socks at Walmart on a Black Friday deal with a pack of 20 for $3. So I knew I wasn't gonna be able to spend $16 for one pair of socks. But what it did lead me to is right when I got my first job in high school, and I finally got my own money, I started buying a whole bunch of stuff that I always wanted. And this continued throughout college. So as I made more money from high school to college, I'd just start spending more and buying more what I thought was cooler stuff. And it always felt really good because especially in college, I would always be getting compliments where people would be like, oh, you got the coolest new shoes. Oh, you got the coolest new sweatshirt. You got this. Oh, your room looks so cool. How'd you get this? How'd you get that? And I always just thrived off that, and everybody kind of just knew me as the guy who always looked kind of fresh. Now, fast forward to around my senior year of college, when I was having conversations with my friends, we started to talk more about what this minimalism idea was. I started to become more and more intrigued by it and wanted to learn more about what exactly it was and why people were doing it. For me, this planted the seed, and the main idea for me was just to get rid of a lot of the stuff I had. Right around my senior year of college, when I was about to be done with college and move out of the dorms, I started to have these kind of ideas or takes. You could almost say they were like absurdism takes, where I was like, dude, nothing matters anymore, bro. Like, you know, why do we even need stuff? Steve Jobs, all he wore was a black turtleneck and jeans. And look at him, look at what he created, bro. So I kind of started having this like extreme mindset where like I didn't want anything. At this point, I was trying to get rid of anything I could just because I was like, I don't need it. I don't want it. I don't need it. And I could do it without these things. Like these things were kind of, it felt like were holding me back because, you know, people are associating me with these things that I had rather than just me as a person. And basically this was the start of my minimalism journey. Now this was around 2019, end of 2019, where I started to just get rid of as much as I could. And this continued on into early 2020. Now, obviously during 2020, we all went into a lockdown and there was nothing to really do. So you'd think that like, this is good because I wouldn't be inclined to buy stuff, but actually the opposite seemed to happen. Around this time, I pretty much fell off my minimalism journey, and a lot of stuff that I ended up getting rid of and was able to get rid of, I eventually just bought back. I quickly got back a lot of the stuff that I worked so hard to get rid of. I never really came back to the idea of minimalism until 2022. For those 2 years, I didn't really care about it, and I just felt like I want to have cool stuff. As 2022 approached, I decided to once again give it a try, and this time really channel why I wanted to do it more than just minimalism sounds cool, I want to get into it. Two of the main reasons I wanted to get back into minimalism is one, I started my self-improvement journey around the end of 2021, and I think minimalism and self-improvement really go hand in hand. Another thing was I started journaling and writing a lot more. I think this really helped me narrow down why I wanted to be a minimalist or why I was trying to get rid of stuff. And it really made me think about these things. One of the main things I was really thinking about is I don't want the attention to be on me because of the stuff I own. If I get attention, I want it to be because of something I created, something that I did that was really exceptional, really cool, really helpful. Another thing I was writing about was about getting rid of clutter and how having stuff was holding me back because I was spending too much time trying to choose. Another big change around this time is when I read this book called Digital Minimalism by Cal Newport. Now this book is mostly about having a minimal presence on social media, the digital aspect of minimalism, not necessarily like the physical aspect. But I think this also motivated and inspired me to continue on this minimalism path because during this time I decided to limit my social media usage a lot. And this plays a role in why I wanted to continue with this movement. You know, a lot of times I'd be spending hours just scrolling through the Discover page and just seeing new things that I was like, oh, I saw this 5 seconds ago, I didn't even know what this was. But now I just saw this and now I have to go buy it. But being on social media, it completely got rid of that aspect of me wanting to buy things. So now I know what you're probably thinking. Wow, all that seems good and it seems like you're well on your way to being a minimalist. So why did you stop? So one of the main reasons I stopped is because I started to feel that minimalism was really just trying to become more of a trend rather than a true lifestyle. Another big thing that I really didn't want to be a part of was that just being a part of a movement. Now a lot of people love being part of a movement, but for me, I kind of wanted the freedom of choice. As a minimalist, it felt awkward when I would just be buying stuff. I was like, oh, I'm a minimalist, but I'm buying stuff. And I know like buying stuff isn't like anti-minimalism. Like minimalism isn't you can never buy anything ever. That's not what the movement is about. But for me, it just felt weird. Whenever I'd like buy something for enjoyment, like oh, I'd maybe buy a pair of shoes, or oh, I'd maybe buy whatever. It felt weird, and I didn't want that burden of that movement kind of being held over me. I wanted the freedom to be somewhere in the middle rather than having an all-in mindset. Also, I had to come to the conclusion of what my main reason for being a minimalist is. That main reason was just to have financial freedom. I wanted to have the freedom to not be locked down by things. I wanted the freedom to be able to do what I wanted when I want. I wanted to have the freedom to save more money. And I felt that having less stuff gave me that freedom. And with this freedom, I also wanted the freedom to choose whether I wanted to be part of a movement or not be part of a movement. With that being said, I don't think I've changed my mindset that much from deciding to not be a minimalist anymore to when I was a minimalist not that long ago. But I think the main difference is I just don't want all the things that come with being a quote-unquote minimalist. I just truly want the freedom to do what I want when I want, and if having less stuff helps me accomplish that goal faster, then so be it. It seems that the more I steer myself away from calling myself a minimalist and trying to fit into that box, maybe I'm becoming a better minimalist than when I was trying to be all in on that movement. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are in the comment section below. I'm doing a 30 days of yoga challenge, and that video will be out very soon, so stay tuned for that if you enjoyed. Until next time, I'm out guys. Peace.